Have you ever sprayed a fragrance for the very first time and you were just instantly hooked? Wow! Oh my gosh! I can't quite wrap my head around what I'm smelling. All I know is I'm hooked. Well, in today's video, I have 10 examples of fragrances that do exactly that for me. Whether it's when I'm in my studio and I'm just, sniffing, I just want to get an idea or, reconnect with that particular fragrance, or just fragrances that I wear on a consistent basis because they have that wow factor to me. Whatever the case is, I cannot stop smelling and wearing these fragrances. And this is going to be the first installment of a mini series that I do here. And I'm very happy and excited to share this concept and these fragrances with you. So stay tuned. I would love to know what fragrances grabbed your attention at first sniff. You were immediately hooked to the point where you just can't stop smelling or wearing whatever fragrance it is that you'd like to talk about. Somebody just destroyed something upstairs, and I'm sure you guys heard that. Anyway, I want to start the list off with the first fragrance. Personally, I think every gentleman should own this. My son strongly disagrees, so I'm going to go two parts on this one. This is Fougere Royale by Houbigant. Now, this is the first Fougere ever, said to be released in 1882 or 1888. I can't quite remember right now, but yeah, I absolutely, this was a blind buy, love at first sniff for me. My son doesn't particularly care for this one, but he is a fan of Fougere, so he disagreed with me there. But for me, yeah, it was an instant love. I love the use of cold spices against this, lavender that has almost this barbershop approach. It is ambery in the sense that there is a warming quality here. If you could think of, a warm spring or summer's day, that's kind of what the idea is here, at least what it evokes or speaks, or how the fragrance speaks to me, right? So also, there is a citrus tonality to it, but mainly I get these fresh greens contrasted with some cold spices, that beautiful use of lavender. Again, this kind of barbershop feel that it has to it, but more on the side of cold spices, aromatic lavender, and just beautiful. It's an elegant, refined fragrance. This is one of those quiet luxury type of fragrances where you know that you smell great, you're wearing something of high quality. That's the idea here. This isn't one that's going to scream off the skin, so it's not going to announce your presence, but you know that you smell simply fantastic when you are wearing Fougere Royale by Houbigant. Sticking with the Fougere theme, I have Dorian's Fougere here by Darren Perfumes. They come in two sizes, the 10 ml and then your 50 ml here. The reason why I have both is because I have drained more than half of this here, and I went ahead and picked up a full bottle. So once again, we kind of have the aromatic barbershop style here. I would say, unlike Fougere Royale, this goes more into a barbershop direction with this kind of, oh my God, this stuff is so good. This is a masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of a Fougere fragrance. I absolutely love this stuff. I love the use of florals against the spices here. You have both cold and warm spices, aromatic green nuances, kind of, camphorous in a way. This warming ambery quality, but this one goes more into the amber territory where you can truly smell an amber here. You get that warming quality, at least I do. And you know that this is regal. You smell regal, refined, just gentlemanly, extraordinary. Those are descriptors that I would use for someone that is wearing Dorian's Fougere. This is just a classic staple, possibly one of, if not the best example of a Fougere that I have in my collection. This stuff is just wonderful. Again, with the way the aromatic spices, lavender, and and the woods play in harmony with each other. You also have green nuances here as well. Just fantastic stuff, and I cannot get enough of this. Again, this is a masterpiece of a Fougere. It's Dorian's Fougere by Darren Allen Perfumes. Let's talk about more fresh scent profiles, or fresher scent profiles. Now, you guys all, you know this. You know this one. Love it or hate it. This stuff is incredible. It doesn't matter which iteration you have, whether it be the classic Eau de Parfum, or maybe you have the Absolute, or you have the Cologne version. It's Creed Aventus, guys. Now, I know, I'm going to admit something here. I did a video. I said this is overhyped, overrated. You can't deny the fact that it's great. Maybe you don't like it. That's fine. That's quite fine. But explain to me, if this fragrance is not that great or things of that nature, why are there so many clones of it? Why are there so many copies from, you know, your typical clone brands and also designer brands and others? This has spawned so many flankers, it's ridiculous. But what does it do for me? Well, more often than not, especially recently, I just crave the scent profile. I love the pineapple nuances that you get here. Oh, by the way, before I talk about the notes, I'm using the Aventus cologne because it is the only version that I have a full bottle of. I drained my 50 milliliter bottle from 2018, and I've tried Aventus Absolute, but for me, I just have the cologne for now. So whichever iteration you have works great is what I was trying to say at the beginning. But anyway, Aventus cologne. I love this one because it's soft, it's light. It is not a screamer off the skin, but the scent bubble and the longevity is where this shines. I get anywhere from 8 to 10 hours. Again, it's never loud. It never announces your presence. It's one of those where somebody gets close to you, they're going to be able to notice you for sure. And I love the way that the ambergris, the pineapple, the birch, and the vanilla work together in this one. Again, though, it's more of an emphasis on the bright citruses with the pineapple and some light woods, maybe even a touch of vetiver I get here, and that ambergris. Just magic in a bottle. I absolutely love this stuff, and Creed Aventus will always be in my collection because I just love it that much. Well, this is my scent of the day today. This one comes to us from ex Nihilo, and this is Blue Talisman. Yeah, Blue Talisman is just a great fragrance to me. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing new. It'll remind you of similar things. Not that it smells exactly like these, but it will remind you of things like Bleu de Chanel. It will remind you of Elysium by Raja Dove. It definitely will. You know, it kind of goes in that territory, but does its own thing at the same time while not being overly unique. Did that confuse you? Because if it didn't, you're pretty amazing. But anyway, with this one here, you have different citruses at the top, but mainly I get this pear, maybe a little bit of tangerine. There's definitely vetiver here. I don't believe vetiver is credited. I get a vetiver presence along with loads of musk. They are using very clean white musks here, and I could definitely pick that up. Akigala wood for sure. Some Ambro fix to give it that staying power, and this is a strong performing fragrance. Shout out to my good friend, my brother, Joe Anthony, an unaverage Joe, for putting me onto this fragrance way before it was hyped. I should have talked about it sooner, so I could have been the one, but Ocho Cinco, Siete Ocho, whatever the heck you're calling yourself, Chad Johnson these days. But Blue Talisman is incredible, as I was saying, and then I got distracted. That pear, the Akigala wood, the Ambro fix, the musks, just play in harmony. I smell fantastic right now. There's some sweetness coming from those citrus nuances. Guys, get your nose on this. Get your nose on this. Let me know what you think. Now, listen, it's a simple fragrance, but it's done really, really well. To me, when it comes to a freshie, this is a 10 out of 10. It's great. It works. It works for what I'm wearing today as I'm, getting ready to go into work here in just a little bit. And it also works for casual settings too, but it's expensive. So, I mean, you're going to have to be your own judge if it's a pass for you. It's one of those examples where I completely understand, and if you decide to add it to your collection, I also understand why you did that. But in any case, Blue Talisman from ex Nihilo. Another 10 out of 10 instant love for me is Fragrance du Bois London Spice. This stuff is just incredible. It's again one of those examples of a simple fragrance done very, very well. Regal, refined, elegant, sophisticated, fresh and gentlemanlike. Almost has this watery rain smell to it. I know it sounds kind of weird. Get your nose on this. Trust me, I'm not too crazy. Just a little bit, just a smidge. But you have this watery aquatic feel against cold spices with a little bit of lavender, some soft woods in the base. This is another quiet luxury fragrance. You smell just like the descriptors in the beginning. And it's one of those where you spray on and you know, no matter where I'm going, no matter which room I'm entering, I'm going to be the best smelling person in the room, hands down, bar none. It is a confidence boosting fragrance, one that I just fell in love with. And when I had the opportunity of sampling the brand, this was the one where my girlfriend was like, oh my God, I would love to smell this on you. So I had to grab a bottle. And ever since then, I've just been absolutely loving this fragrance. Let me know, do you guys have a favorite fragrance from Fragrance du Bois? What are your opinions of the brand? I've tried probably 15 fragrances from Fragrance du Bois, and I'm a huge fan of the brand. I think the next fragrance that I'm going to be purchasing is Oud Bleu Intense. Absolutely love this stuff, but that's for a different conversation. And again, this is London Spice by Fragrance du Bois. When it comes to the note of iris, you guys know that have been around the channel for a long time. I'm a huge fan. I'm a sucker for a great iris. And I have two examples here. Arguably the best iris fragrances that you can buy right now out on the market. The first one, Dior Homme. This is the original. Now, I know this one is very hard to find. You'll be okay if you appreciate Dior Homme Intense, which is actually conveniently right in front of me right here. However, with Dior Homme Original, and the reason why this captivates me and just has me spraying more and more and more is the use of florals. Now this, unlike Dior Homme Intense, isn't as powdery. You get more of that waxy iris presence. You get musk here, along with a touch of vanilla, maybe a hint of leather even. As I'm smelling this, there definitely is a leather quality. Now, when you go read notes, like fragrance notes and pyramids and things like that, just so you know, those the notes that are released to the public are just to give you an idea. Not everything that's going to be in a note breakdown is actually going to be in the fragrance, and let your nose do its job. Your nose's job is to smell, and whatever you end up getting is what you get, and don't let anybody tell you if you're right or wrong. Your nose does not lie. But anyway, yeah, that waxy iris, cold. This is cold smelling to me. So, cold, crisp air, on a spring morning is kind of what I get here. A little watery, that iris. You could see like dew resting on the iris petals. Just a magnificent fragrance. I absolutely love this stuff, but I love the whole collection. I think from the designer realm, Dior Homme Original, Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, they are the best flankers that have ever come out in the designer realm. That's my feeling. That is my opinion. I absolutely love all three. I'm showing Dior Homme Original because lately, here now we're in the middle of spring, early summer, I'm gravitating towards this one quite a bit. I've put a nice dent in the bottle, there, and yeah, I just cannot stop wearing this. Performance on this one, relatively light. It gets me about 6-7 hours. It does sit fairly close to the skin. This is great for me to wear into the office. If I'm, just kind of hanging around in the house or something like that, not really doing a whole lot, that's when I'll pull for this one. I especially like this because it sits closer to the skin, because it's light and airy. It's just one of those fragrances that kind of will complement my mood for the day or the weather. If it's, really hot spring day or summer day, I'll spray this one on just because it's a nice accent piece, like a second skin almost, but projecting a lot farther than an eau de cologne or something like that. But this is Dior Homme Original. Well, this is my favorite iris fragrance from this particular brand. And guys, this is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10 fragrance. And I think that everybody, no, I know for a fact that every iris lover out there needs to, at minimum, try this. This is Say Less from Day 3 Fragrances. This fragrance is amazing. It's amazing. It was the first fragrance that I sprayed from the sample pack I purchased, and instantly fell in love with it. Fell in love with it because you have these beautiful citruses that play along so well with this waxy, lipsticky kind of iris. It's the waxiness here is almost reminiscent to wax of a candle. If you've ever, when I was little, I used to scrape my nail into my grandmother's candles to smell them. Well, that kind of oily, waxy quality that you would get if you would rub that wax in your fingers, that's exactly how this iris speaks to me. And of course, you have the powdery floral tones that iris will give. It's a little bit buttery, so maybe Michael Paul used some orris in here because I definitely get a buttery quality as well. There's this smoky incensey presence here, along with a tad bit of a touch of leather and some musk. This stuff is magnificent, guys. This captivated me. It had me at hello. I knew I needed a full bottle in my collection, and very happy that I did that because this has just become a staple of mine in my fragrance wardrobe. And the utilization of iris here is just so different than what I'm used to. And just to touch on that iris one last time, is it's also a dry iris. So, but done to perfection. 10 out of 10, masterpiece. Say Less from Day 3 Fragrances. This is an example of a fragrance where every time I spray it or just, smell the inside of the cap, the atomizer, I think back to the early days of my fragrance journey, because this fragrance here said to me, wow, there's fragrances out there that are like this. See, I was only used to designer fragrances. Not that there's anything wrong with designer fragrances, but you kind of know what I mean. Like, I didn't know that a fragrance could have this much depth and character to it, quite like Signature Pour Homme from Zaharoff. What an amazing fragrance. An instant love for me. This is like a staple piece. I'll always own and have a bottle of this, just for nostalgia purposes, because this reminds me of my early days, long before content creation even came into my mind. But this is the fragrance that did get me started. Man, this one just takes me back every single time. It just takes me back to those early days, as I keep saying. But in this one here, you have that bright, sparkling, juicy pear. You have the lavender, which, kind of has this, adds to this kind of barbershop heart of the fragrance. And in the base, you have things like sandalwood, a little bit of oud, some musk. Just a magnificent creation. Like, Claude Deer couldn't have done any better with this if he tried. And ever since this fragrance, I've been a big fan of the brand. And this is just a staple for me when I want something that just screams sophistication and elegance and, putting my best foot forward, smelling my best, looking and feeling my best. Signature Pour Homme really fits the bill for me. And for nostalgia purposes, I had to include this in the list because it means a lot to me. Signature Pour Homme by Zaharoff. The last two fragrances are the best example of the note of vetiver. So vetiver and I started off as faux, got to know it a little bit, fell in love with the note of vetiver. So faux was Terre d'Hermès. Terre d'Hermès was a skin scrubber for me. Now, I absolutely love it. But you're not in the video, but thank you for making a cameo appearance. My love for vetiver really started when I smelled Sycomore by Chanel. So much so that I ran through a 10 milliliter decant that I featured on this channel, and I had to buy this. Now, I want to get something out of the way. Is this overpriced? Absolutely. Did that stop me? No. Will it stop me from talking about it? Absolutely not. Why? Because I love this fragrance. It is that good. Vetiver, a touch of smoke, maybe a little bit of incense. Green, camphorous. Beautiful woody base in this. I just absolutely love it. There's so much going on here. It's bright, it's refreshing. Then it's green and slightly smoky. The vetiver here is very sophisticated, high quality, just like Chanel does their fragrances. This is the Eau de Parfum, and this is lighter wearing. Although I get all day performance out of this one, after about an hour, it does sit relatively close to the skin. This is a 200 milliliter bottle that I'll never use. I'll never go through this entire bottle, no matter what. But I love having it in the collection because it's one of my all-time favorite vetiver fragrance. Again, just one of those examples of a fragrance that's elegant, beautiful, sophisticated, and you know, sometimes you just can't put a price on it. You just need to own it because you love it that much. And this is the that example right there. Sycomore by Chanel. In the early testing phases of this fragrance, I said to Boris, the owner and perfumer of the brand, this is my favorite vetiver fragrance. Early on, again, I said that this is you are going to put out the best vetiver based fragrance on the market, and this is Zelen by Boka Parfum. So what is this fragrance mainly about? Well, it's kind of a combination of all sorts of things, right? Citruses, green notes, of course, that crisp vetiver that's a little bit root-like in nature. And you have some other things like Mysore, sandalwood, and other woods adding this soft, sophisticated touch with a touch, just a dash of this spice undertone that weaves its way in and out and through the life cycle of this fragrance. Another example of quiet luxury. While this won't shout and grab somebody's attention from across the room, when people come up to you and they notice your smell, they're taken back. What is that? What are you wearing? I'm sharing these examples with you because that's what the attention that I received from people. This is something to where you and I may have smelled things similar to this because we are knee deep into this hobby. The average person that's approaching you has no clue because what they've smelled out there in the world, I mean, let's face it, they might not even be into fragrances for all we know, but let's assume they are. Well, they're more used to department store fragrances. Again, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying when you spend time and you wear fragrances that are a little bit more on the experimental side versus, you know, the cash grabs that are on the Macy's or Dillard's countertops, you and I both know that you've stumbled across something amazing. And that is exactly what happened when Boris created Zelen. He created something just amazing, something that really spoke to me, something that really captivated me. And yeah, I just keep going back for more. This juice level is dropping because I just can't get enough of the way this smells. It's very addictive, very intoxicating. And again, like anytime that I want to smell regal or sophisticated, I can do so, whether I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans, flip-flops and shorts and a tank top, or if I'm dressed up like this to go into the office. I know, once again, I'm just the best smelling person in whatever room I'm going to be going into, or maybe just up and down an aisle at a grocery store. So, yeah, well, guys, that concludes my list. Those were 10 examples of fragrances that I just can't get enough of. I can't stop wearing them. I cannot stop smelling them. Some had me from hello. Some were more recent discoveries. Now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. What are some examples of fragrances that did exactly that to you? And one last time before we depart here from each other, don't forget to leave me a like and some comments below. And if you haven't, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys soon. Until the next video, take care of yourselves and each other. I love you guys. Peace.